You all remember Letitia James?
Yep.
The FBI and the U.S. Attorney in Albany have opened an investigation into mortgage fraud allegations against New York Attorney General Tish James. The Trump administration last month accused James of falsifying records to obtain favorable loans on homes she bought in Virginia and Brooklyn. Her lawyer aggressively denied the allegations.
JEJE vibe, JEJE vibe, JEJE vibe, JEJE vibe. You know the vibe, you know the vibe. Ladies and gentlemen, this whole matter is hot. So we gotta give it to you while it's hot. You all remember Letitia James?
Yep. The one that filed, what's it called? Charges against Trump for real estate fraud.
Facts.
Yeah.
New York AG Letitia James's lawsuit against former President Donald Trump and members of his family.
Mr. Trump and the Trump Organization from entering into any New York State commercial real estate acquisition or from applying for loans from any financial institution in New York for 5 years to pay for the financial benefits obtained as a result of the persistent fraudulent practices at an estimated $250 million. And towards the end of my remarks, I will go into the other relief that we are seeking. At the center of the year-long financial scheme were the statements of financial condition that were prepared annually by and for Mr. Trump, specifically from 2011 to 2021. These statements were compiled by the Trump Organization executives and were issued as a compilation report by Mr. Trump's accounting firm. The statements are explicit that the preparation was the responsibility of Mr. Trump. We're starting in 2016, the trustees of his trust, Donald Trump Jr. and Alan Weisselberg, for the sole benefit of Mr. Donald Trump. Each statement was personally certified as accurate by Mr. Trump or by one of his trustees as part of the loan process.
The Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, is now facing possible charges.
The same charges that she filed against Trump now.
The Trump administration accuses Attorney General Tish James of mortgage fraud. They allege in court documents that in 2023, James granted her power of attorney to make a Norfolk, Virginia property her principal residence, despite her actually living and serving as Attorney General in New York. They also allege she bought a 5-family property in Brooklyn in 2001 with a loan that is only available for homes with 4 units or less.
Is this what we call boomerang or?
More like, oh, I committed the crime, so I can see, I can spot the crime.
Forgetting
that at the end of the day, everyone is still bounded by the law.
Like you said, nobody is above the law.
Yeah, and she's an example of it. Crazy.
Letitia.
You know, she made her intentions very clear even before she became New York State Attorney General. When she's running, she's saying, I'm going to get Trump. I'm going to get Trump. I'm going to do it for you. It was a campaign promise before she actually knew anything. Actually, we have a little mashup of some of her highlights, both before she became Attorney General and after. Take a look, please.
I say one name, Donald Trump. That should motivate you. Get off your ass and vote.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally.
Running for Attorney General because I will never be afraid to challenge this illegitimate president when our fundamental rights are at stake.
We need to focus on Donald Trump and his abuses. We need to follow his money. We need to find out where he's laundered money. All of those transactions have happened here in New York City.
We are hearing that you put a house in Virginia
as your homestead, and you're never there.
The head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency alleges New York Attorney General Letitia James may have committed mortgage fraud related to a Virginia home and a New York property. And so he sent Attorney General Pam Bondi a criminal referral letter.
I saw it on breaking news this morning. This case was sent to us from Bill Pulte. We have not seen it. I inquired right before I walked out here. No one in my office has read it yet. We haven't looked at it. Of course, we'll be reviewing it.
The allegations in that letter claim James listed the Virginia home as her main residence and that she misrepresented her Brooklyn property as having fewer units. All, he writes, in order to allegedly secure more favorable loan terms. It's also alleged James and her father signed mortgage documents in 1983 stating they were husband and wife. You may recall AG James filed a civil lawsuit against President Trump and the Trump Organization for inflating property values to get more favorable loan and insurance terms. She won, and they were fined hundreds of millions of dollars.
They're also saying some other things about the present home.
About the fake income and stubs and all that.
Jet planes and Letitia.
To get your underwritings approved. Lying about your funds now.
Letitia.
The Federal Housing Finance Agency director, who previously was a Trump fundraiser, sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department calling for a mortgage fraud investigation into James, alleging she appears to have falsified records to receive favorable loan terms. Sam Antar, an accountant by training and past convicted felon, first raised questions about James's property-related records.
If she did actually use it as a primary residence, she'd be disqualified automatically as the Attorney General. If she didn't actually use it as a primary residence, she would be committing mortgage fraud. So take one or the other.
Late this afternoon, James's office said the co-owner, her niece, used the Virginia home as her primary residence. Questions also raised about James's Brooklyn home. 2001 city records show it was a 5-family dwelling, which experts say would require a commercial property loan with perhaps higher interest rates. But James allegedly listed it as a 4-family unit. A James spokesperson would not say if any units have since been combined, as a property of 4 can be backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, often qualifying for better interest rates and a lower down payment.
But Letitia is going on saying that this is a witch hunt.
We'll see.
She is saying that, I saw this coming.
James's office says since she has owned the Brooklyn building, it has always been a 4-residence home. A spokesman for James today said the Trump administration weaponizes the federal government against the rule of law and the Constitution. She will not be intimidated by bullies, no matter who they are.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is a time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side.
Because I went after him, he's circling back on me.
Circle back. Hey, you get what you asked for. You threw the first punch.
Letitia.
Hey, be ready to take the punch too.
It
is what it is.
This is the same thing with Fannie. Going against or going to catch a whale.
And ended up catching a shrimp.
You go out fishing for a big fish.
And your net got stuck under the sea and you thought it was a big whale. Keep pulling it. Oh, this shit is going to be big.
This is going to be big.
This shit is going to be big. Only for you to now draw the net and find out like, this is nothing but just shrimps.
Crazy. A bunch of shrimps.
A bunch of water shrimps.
My God. This is crazy.
The FBI and the U.S. Attorney in Albany have opened an investigation into mortgage fraud allegations against New York Attorney General Tish James. The Trump administration last month accused James of falsifying records to obtain favorable loans on homes she bought in Virginia and Brooklyn. Her lawyer aggressively denied the allegations.
Crazy times. Letitia James is possibly facing charges. There's so many things out there about Letitia James.
You already know that your girl, Letitia James, she's facing how many different allegations of misreporting on mortgage documents, of outright misrepresentations, of not filing proper paperwork, the disclosures that are required for her as a public official in the state of New York. Just who knows? I mean, it feels like we're up to 6, 7, 8 of them over the last 40 years at this point. And many of them have been brought to you by Sam E. Antar. He has been public about his really holding her feet to the fire. And he has found additional information. This information is outside of the mortgage and insurance world, y'all, where there are at least 3 or 4 different instances where he has reportedly found mortgage document related inconsistencies, and then additional instances where she didn't report that properly according to Antar to the state. Now he's also saying that she took $41,000, almost $42,000 in private jet travel, taxpayer funded private jet travel, where the documentation, because you know, as a public official, when you're flying on the public dime, you have to have proper documentation, and apparently even that cannot be properly documented. This is another scandal that's brewing for your girl, Letitia James. Now here it says, breaking, NY Comptroller's office makes stunning admission about Letitia James's $41,807 taxpayer-funded private jet travel. And he goes on to say the full investigation is at whitecollarfraud.com. So the New York Comptroller's office officially certified they have no records justifying any of the flights, explicitly stated no agreement was required for $41,000 in charter payments, claimed there's no right to appeal their failure to provide documentation, and admitted 0 procurement records exist despite state finance law requirements, y'all.
And so far, she hasn't really denied any of these things. It's like, oh, these documents were leaked, but it's not like...
Yeah, if she's not denying it, that means that she probably knows that she's in the wrong.
Oh my God, Letitia.
Not denying it, because that's the thing, denying it and people actually finding out will now make it even more worse.
Oh my God, Letitia.
The Office of New York Attorney General Letitia James has paid $483,000 in contracts to a law firm called Davis Polk, starting in April of last year. Coincidentally, though, those payments began just 4 months after William Hochul was hired by the company. William Hochul, obviously you know what the last name is the husband of Kathy Hochul. So fast forward to April of this year, Letitia James is under investigation from the DOJ for falsifying documents, saying she owed less property than she actually does as a way to secure lower interest rates. At the same time, James allegedly has been saying that she legally lives at a property in Virginia as a way to secure a better mortgage. Once this investigation was launched, corrupt Kathy Hochul knew it was time to return the favor for that $483,000 sent to her husband's employer. So last month, she passed a new budget, and it includes $10 million in legal funds for defense funds for Letitia James, paid for by New York taxpayers. For more on this, the man who's uncovered it all, forensic accountant Sam Antar. Sam, good to see you.
Thank you for having me on. Well, let's start in February 2022.
Okay, back it up one more. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a contract that's made between the Attorney General's office and Davis Polk.
Okay.
It's approximately $325,000.
Great.
And in the meantime, Davis Polk is getting all kinds of money, $7 million from various government agencies, but this contract is dormant. Then Hochul's husband, William Hochul, joins the firm
Davis
on
Polk.
January 2nd, 2024.
Okay.
Right? The contract expires the end of the month of January, about 29 days later, 30 days later. The contract is then recorded on March 17th, which is approximately 450 400 plus days after the contract was entered into. In other words, it was recorded and approved. It's kind of like it didn't exist until it existed.
Until it comes in.
Right. Now the contract gets extended because Hochul is there, William Hochul is there.
Hochul comes in.
Right. And all of a sudden, money starts flowing from the Attorney General's account 454 days after the contract was initiated. The money starts flowing in $483,000, give or take.
Okay.
Now,
Yep.
See. Crazy. Oh my God, Letitia. This doesn't look good.
The Justice Department has launched a criminal investigation into real estate transactions that you're involved with. I'm not validating that in any way, but I wanted to just ask you if you've received a formal notice of that at this point.
No, not at all. These allegations, Jen, are baseless. They have been discredited, refuted. There was a letter that was prepared by my attorney that was sent to Pam Bondi, the United States Attorney General. And it's unfortunate that President Trump publicly attacked me a few days ago. And as a result of that, he telegraphed to the Department of Justice and to FBI that I should be targeted. You see, this is nothing more than an extension of his revenge, his retribution, and he finally got up to the J's. And so I stand prepared to respond to these baseless attacks with facts. And we look forward, obviously, to further discussions with the Department of Justice or any other individual who leaked this material. It's really critically important that this is in response to a $454 million judgment that my office secured against Donald Trump et al., a case which is currently on appeal. And as a result of that, and as a result of all of the cases that we have brought and we are winning, again, standing up for the rule of law, standing up for our fragile democracy, standing up for liberties and freedoms that we all enjoy, standing up at a time when our country, unfortunately, is under attack. Unfortunately, I have been someone who has been targeted, but I am not fearful. I am fearless, and I will continue to walk into the office of the New York State Attorney General and again protect the residents and protect them from any harms coming from the federal government. That is my mission, and I took an oath of office. I took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, and I took an oath of office to the residents of the great state of New York, and I will do everything in my power to protect them from any harm coming from this federal government.
The Attorney General of New York is about to get a circle back on the things that she accused Trump of. So we'll keep you guys updated. You know, it's JEJE Vibe.
We're out of here now.
If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. JEJE Vibe. You know, it's JEJE Vibe. Can you feel the vibe?
It's gone. Why are you shaking up?
Federal prosecutors have officially opened a criminal investigation into New York Attorney General Tish James. At a media event in Albany yesterday, U.S. Attorney John Sarcone wouldn't comment.
I only know what I read in the paper or what's been reported in the media. So whatever's been reported in the media, that's all I know.
I believe there was a statement from your office that sort of confirms it.
I heard about the statement and I called the reporter and told them that I'm not going to say you misquoted, but what was meant by that statement was whatever is reported in the media is all that my office is aware of.
Doubt. The New York Post claims the initial request for an investigation that was sent last month specifically referred to Sarcone's office. But again, you heard him there claiming that he only knows what has been already reported in the media. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik responding to the investigation, commending the FBI's decision to look into claims of mortgage fraud. She went on to call the AG hypocritical, arguing that her case is similar to the civil fraud case that she launched against President Trump and his company in New York. That case claims the president's company committed business fraud in the Empire State.